Swanee River, far, far away. That's where my heart is yearning ever, home where the old folks stay.
Welcome to Florida Mint on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron. The podcast where Floridians discuss the legends, lore, and crazy stories that always seem to take place in Florida. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Episode 164.
Wow. My favorite series of numbers that adds up to 11.
Come
That's
on.
true.
You've said that for a while.
I sure have.
This is your golden episode, bro.
It is.
Congratulations.
Congrats on me.
We were saying before we went on the air, we were talking to our live streamers.
Yeah.
Right.
We were talking about some of the felons that our live streamers may or may not have committed.
The
And
felonies.
The felonies.
Yeah. Yep.
And we found out that we have a crime-free live stream.
Yes.
Yeah, finally.
Well,
it took
in that moment, but-
163 episodes.
In that moment, at least, we never know who's going to log on and
Yeah.
be like, guess what, guys?
It's Jared Fogle
Gotcha.
here.
I'm a felon. Oh, God.
Well, listen. Patreon.com/FMOFM podcast.
I can keep going. Hey, it's Josh Duggar. Hey,
listen,
it's
this guy.
Jussie Smollett. Hey,
The reason
it's-
why he's
Okay.
naming off all these villains, to
Right.
give you a little teaser into this episode,
Right.
Yep.
on the icebreaker, Josh invited actual villains into our studio.
Yeah, so I had to familiarize myself.
You did it without letting us
Without
know.
asking us.
Yeah.
Well, I
without
got to
telling
have a
the
key.
team.
I have a key.
So you're going to hear that coming up shortly, but first and foremost, as always, the holy headlines.
The whole. Oh,
Holy
my
heck.
gosh.
Wow.
I like that a
Did
lot.
you just improv a new title?
Holy
I did.
headlines.
I did.
Oh,
Let's do it.
Bless us, Cameron.
let's do it.
Holy headline.
Holy
on.
headlines.
Bless us, Cameron.
All right, headlines. Our first headline is actually going to be an update from last week's headlines.
Yes.
Which one would I want an update on?
So last week we had a headline about the southernmost buoy
That's the one I would want.
in Key West being lit on fire.
That's right.
Well,
It's
not
concrete,
the buoy
yeah.
itself. Yeah. Christmas trees being set in front of it and set on fire.
Right.
And it did $5,000 worth of damage
Hold
to it.
on.
Which I don't think I mentioned that last week, but
No.
I'm not
How?
sure how because it's a painted piece of concrete.
Right.
Any guess
Someone
how
valued their artwork at 5,000.
Josh? Any guess to how much that buoy weighs?
Oh, that's got to be 32 tons.
20 tons.
Oh, it's
20
close.
tons,
Dude, I thought you were being facetious, but that's closer than I would have guessed.
Well, that's a lot of concrete, and knowing how much concrete weighs,
Yeah.
I knew it.
Right.
I was gonna
you
say
know
45.
the cubic yard weight of concrete.
Off the top
Right.
of my head, I could tell you if I wanted to.
All right. So, anyways, our update is that they found the person,
Come
or
on.
the people,
Yeah.
the vandals that lit this Christmas
Hold
tree
on.
on fire. And
I think I
ruined
know
this.
how.
Go ahead.
Back when the internet first started,
Yeah.
Okay.
people started setting up live stream cameras of places.
Right.
Right.
And you could like tune into the zoo and like watch like a peacock fight.
Right.
Some of them were like pointed at like hotels or like landmarks.
Dude, there is one of that southernmost point, a live stream where you can just see it
Boom,
at
baby.
any given time.
Now, is that how they solved it or no?
No. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Or give us a history lesson on the internet. So, anyways, they found these guys because they went to some of the neighboring businesses, and
Yeah.
one of them was a bar that the suspects,
Yeah.
the buoy was the victim. America was the victim in this case. But
Okay.
anyways, they found the suspects on video at this local
Uh-huh.
bar, and the server was able to remember them right away because
That's the funny thing about servers.
yeah, but here's the reason,
Yeah.
because they had stiffed them on a tip. They bought like 3 drinks
Okay.
Really?
and then stiffed them on a tip. So they remembered, they
Getting
kind of
stiffed.
stuck out to them.
Yeah.
And they also said, the server said, yeah, they were also walking around getting rejected all night from girls that they were trying to hit on.
Oh
Come
my
on.
gosh! Wow, yeah,
And
that'll
they
get you noticed.
And they stinched of gasoline.
Yes, and
And
they
Christmas
stunk
trees.
of gasoline.
and
So,
Douglas firs.
right, they carried the Christmas tree into the bar, and so
Right.
that was the first giveaway.
Well,
So
that helps with pickup lines. Like,
Right.
you should meet my friend Douglas.
Oh my God.
that's terrible.
I know.
So anyways, they did find the vandals. I know Wayne lost some sleep over this headline. So
I
they
did.
found them. They were able to fix the buoy the next day. I'm questioning $5,000.
Yeah.
It's like it sounds like a minimum.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's just you're just gonna have to repaint it, and so maybe
Yeah.
I don't know, the stenciling on it's expensive.
I
Do
think
they
it's
get a
true.
new crime like when you hit 5,000? Like if they said, oh, it's only worth
Oh,
1,000.
true.
I
Like
see
it's
what
a
you're
cap.
saying.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. All right, our next headline was sent in by one of our investors, Ashley. Now, I am worried about this. Okay,
Yeah.
so there is a lot of invasive species in Florida.
Oh, another
Okay,
one?
Another one.
Okay, yes.
Why is he so
We've talked about the pythons,
Yeah.
and we haven't talked about this because I didn't really know about this. Nile crocodiles apparently are
That shouldn't
are
be
invasive.
anything.
Herpes monkeys, which we know about.
We know
Oh,
about that.
okay.
from,
I didn't know
uh,
they changed the name.
The capybara apparently is invasive.
Really?
I'd love one of those.
I'll find a headline about that. But anyways, now we have a predatory fish, freshwater fish,
Oh, no.
that can grow up to 10 feet long and weigh 400 pounds.
Really?
400-pound fish, 10 feet long.
Do they make like
At
string?
that point, you got to stop calling it a fish. I feel like 10 feet
Right.
that's a long fish, right?
That is a long fish. That's
That's a small
more-
whale.
Where does a fish end and a shark begins?
I'm not really sure.
I think at the I think it's 12 feet.
You think so?
Yeah.
12 feet is where a fish ends
A whale starts.
and a
yeah.
whale starts.
Yeah, they're not a different species. They're actually by size.
Right. Well, anyway, so this fish called an arapaima is native to South America and is interesting because, I mean, obviously it's interesting because it's massive, but it has like armor style scales.
Does it?
Really?
Yeah.
It has a swim bladder type lung, which
Okay.
means that it can survive in basically mud. Like it doesn't really need a ton of oxygen. Like
Really?
it can survive
Okay.
on land for
Is this-
over a day without water. A
Hmm.
10-foot fish,
Are we sure this is a fish?
Could you imagine
Is
walking
this
up
an
on that?
alien?
like walking up on a 10-foot fish, just
And
like
thinking it's like dead.
yeah,
And he's
then
like,
it's
"Don't worry about me. I have another 20 hours."
Yeah, I've got a swim water bladder.
Yeah, so they basically have been around for 23 million years.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe evolution. Yeah.
Okay, well they've been around.
In
for
Josh's definition,
6,000.
3,000 years.
Yeah.
fossil
6,000 at
records
most.
put them back 23 million years. And anyway, so the fact that they are, being found in Florida now. So
That's
that
no
like
good.
just a Florida citizen walked up on one, like a dead one on the
Yeah.
like a riverbank.
It had
Wait,
been
thought
there
it-
2 days.
Thought it
Yeah,
was a speed bump.
That was the thing, and it flopped
Yeah.
out, and it had a day, but
Yeah.
nobody could save it in time. So
Thank God.
biologists are worried. Biologists are worried about the fact that a 10-foot freshwater fish in our
Yeah.
rivers are like going to destroy it.
That's
Is it
100%.
good meat?
Yeah.
And they live for.
I'm an American, right? Is it good meat?
I'm not sure
Nobody's been able to take a chainsaw to it.
exactly.
Armor
That's
plating.
yeah. It takes a lot of effort. So they live up to 20 years and
Jesus.
can lay thousands of eggs.
That's
So-
insane. That's why they're invasive.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing is, as an invasive species, that's why it's something to
What's-
worry about.
I mean, it seems like it's got everything going for it. Like it's probably cute too.
right.
dude.
Yeah.
Well, they're not. I don't know. They're not super cute.
They're
But
not super cute.
They're big, dude. Have you ever seen River Monsters?
No, I don't watch cartoons.
I'll send you a link. All right. Our next headline, we have a Florida woman, really a Florida mom that
Come on.
kind of caught her daughter doing something
Mama.
that she wasn't proud of. Like a
Twerking.
mom wasn't proud of. Twerking would be
Mm.
like top of the list. I feel
Right.
like.
Yep.
Yep.
In this case, it was the fact that her daughter is a mail carrier for the United States Postal Service.
So she's
And
career.
yeah, well, I don't know. It doesn't say that.
Oh, I'm
She's just
sorry.
in the Postal Service.
Okay. Okay.
And she went into her daughter's bedroom
Okay.
and
Okay.
she found
Invasion of privacy.
well, maybe she was probably not invited, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be a little invasive. But anyways, She found several tubs and bags of U.S. mail in her daughter's bedroom that had been opened and sifted through. And so she actually went to the postal office that her daughter works for, and told her manager about it and said, "Hey, I was cleaning the other day, and my daughter's door happened to just kind of swing open for a second.
Yeah.
And
This is
I
tricky.
saw some mail in there, and so, anyways, the U.S. mail inspectors started, investigating this. Found 4,000 pieces of mail that had been opened.
They keep tightening the time that these routes need to be delivered in.
Right. It sounds like she's just
she's just like pushing it in her room because I couldn't get to this today.
Yeah,
Right.
but she's opening them, going, "Well, is this really important?"
Right. Yeah, she's doing the work for us.
Yeah.
Like,
it
is
would
this
be a
junk mail or
bad
not?
job to be like a nosy Rosie. Like if
Right.
you
think
like,
so?
I think if you're carrying a package, like when I'm moving a package from point A to point B, the entire time I'm thinking about what's inside.
What's in
this.
it? Yeah.
So if that's
How
your
often
job,
is that happening?
at least once a week.
Oh, okay.
So I like if I go visit point A,
Right.
there's a package there
Yeah.
that says take me to point B.
Right.
I guess.
You see what I'm saying?
That whole
So
route, you're going to be wondering.
I'm wondering what's inside this bad boy.
Right.
And so for her, that's daily.
It is daily, but
yeah.
it was also kind of seasonal because what she was looking for in December and in the November was she was specifically pulling out the envelopes that looked like they were gift cards or like Christmas cards. She was looking for gift cards and
Nosy
cash.
Rosie.
Nosy Rosie.
4,000 envelopes,
That's a lot.
dude. Like, honestly, though, I do wonder at what point the U.S. Postal Service would figure it out. Rather than like, because honestly, I'm sitting here like I didn't get anything from my grandma this year.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And now I'm wondering. Listen, I've been bad talking to my grandma for like weeks.
Somebody
years.
cashed in the iTunes gift card she
And
bought you.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering if old
that makes sense because
if it's
I
bad
thought
postal service.
the same thing. Like, Grams, where's my iTunes?
Yeah.
Right.
Turns out she's passed away.
No.
Like 5 years ago.
Nosy Rosie found out about it?
Yeah.
Didn't even tell you.
Sad times.
you didn't
my
get
gosh.
your invitation to the funeral.
The mail carrier opened it.
Your
You stole it, bro.
What a jerk.
Go ahead, gift
Oh
card for gas.
no! All right, our next headline. This is coming from villagesnews.com.
Oh, that's my
Oh,
favorite.
saucy.
But it might be a little unexpected. So, about 3:00 in the morning, actually 1:16 a.m. Okay,
Bro,
on a Sunday. I want to give the exact time.
Okay.
I think it's anyways. An officer sees a truck pulled over on the side of the road.
Right.
Okay.
1:16. That's not a good sign. You want to help
What's
somebody.
going on at
in the middle of the night?
1:16 in the morning?
Right.
Nothing good.
Nothing good.
And so officer pulls over just to kind of see if he can help this person,
For sure.
see what's going on. And so he looks in the driver's side window, knocked on the window, and sees this 23-year-old man
Villages.
that was unresponsive. See, that's where I told you it might not be what you think.
Right.
And
It's
so this
not.
guy was unresponsive. The vehicle doors were locked.
Okay.
The car was in drive. The car was on,
Oh no.
but his foot was on the brake, asleep, and there was a can of Michelob Ultra in the console's cup holder.
That's where it's at.
So, car's on.
Yep.
The car's in drive.
Right.
Foot
Nish,
happens
nish.
to be on the
DUI,
brake while
baby.
he's sleeping.
Yep.
Okay. And so they knock on the window till he wakes up. The guy refuses to roll down the window. He ends up honking the horn at the police and then taking his beer and opening it and started drinking it.
So not even open container originally.
No, it was actually closed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But
So-
now there's another crime. So
Now there is another.
yeah. And so anyways, they ended up breaking the window. They get
Yeah.
the guy out. The guy can't stand on his own.
Okay.
Sad. That's really
And
sad.
so they ended up
Heavy foot though. Thank goodness.
that's kind of the interesting
Yeah.
thing to me
That's
on
the
this
miracle.
one. Yeah, is
Yeah.
that the guy was sitting on the side of the road asleep with just his heavy foot on the brake.
That sounds like
Nothing stopping him from
driving into a river.
Or
or
something-
anything. Yeah,
something did stop
Arapaima
him.
would have got him, bro.
Her
something-
Paima
yeah.
would have got him.
So I mean, isn't it a crime to be in the villages under 55?
That it is, yes. But
Well,
luckily he was on a county road.
Yeah.
True.
So he was not. I don't know why Village News picked this story up. To be honest
Oh
with
yeah.
you, I was
Must have been
surprised.
a dry week for them. Not a lot working.
Not for this guy. All right.
So did he got extra?
Oh, he got it
extra
all.
charges.
Yeah, he
You
got
think-
it all.
All right. Maybe he had a leg cast on that kept his leg straight.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Or he
True.
yeah,
or like
he
a
locks
stick in his pants.
stick in his pants. That's what I was thinking.
Just like
Yeah.
stuck his leg.
Like an
straight.
old-fashioned splint.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a big stick in his pants.
Yeah.
Just a stick like you pick up off the highway. I don't
Okay,
know.
like a broomstick he jammed down
exactly
his pants.
like a broomstick. All right, our next headline, we have a Florida lawyer.
Okay.
Listen, as a lawyer, you go into the jail to talk to your defendants
Okay.
or whoever you're representing.
Are you saying you're saying this as
Wow.
a like
Yeah.
like you're a lawyer?
This is a teaching
Yes.
moment.
Okay.
All right. I'm
Okay.
just setting you up.
Let's
so
see.
this Florida lawyer
Yeah.
was
Okay.
expected to go into the jail,
Mhm.
all the time. That's his job.
That's his
Talk
gig.
to
Yeah.
his, whoever he's representing,
You
whether
got
it's
it.
His
defendant
friends,
Yep.
or plaintiff, offense, whatever you play as a
Yeah.
lawyer.
right?
And so
We don't judge.
No,
Exactly.
Never would.
the problem here was
Had a stick in his
um,
pants.
He did have a stick in his pants. And so anyways, this lawyer was caught smuggling in documents
Okay.
to the prisoners
Yeah.
that were saturated in cocaine.
Okay.
Wow. What
disguised
a sneaky
as
boy.
legal documents. He was taking saturated documents, documents saturated in cocaine. Now, it doesn't say
Okay.
how you saturate a document in
It's
cocaine.
probably good that it doesn't say that.
I
though,
love
right?
this idea that
I know you're curious.
that
You got
a
a
news
curious brain.
agency should
Very
pause
curious.
and go, in case you're wondering,
The scientific way to
saturate a document
Yeah.
with cocaine.
That's
is
the
this.
thing is like saturate makes me think like
It's heavily soaked.
liquid. Yeah.
Right.
Or just like covered in like a powdery
Yeah.
residue. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
dude.
Right.
Like, what do you do? Like put some like stick glue on the paper and then just
That's
throw cocaine
exactly
at it
it.
maybe? And then,
Yeah, instead of glitter,
yeah. And then
you throw
it's
cocaine.
weird that you just said glitter because
I mean, lawyers do well for themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
that seems like a weird situation
Business.
to be
Well,
in.
cocaine
Yeah,
does better.
Yeah. Well, debt.
that is
you know,
true.
Yeah.
Gambling debts get everyone.
Miami
you know
was
what
built on cocaine.
Yeah. Saturated
Okay.
though, that reminds me of the Kids Bop version of the Dashboard Confessional song.
Oh, you're thinking of Vindicated.
Yeah, but the Kids Bop version.
Saturated.
Yeah.
I mean? Anyway, I am curious if anybody knows how to saturate something
And
in
something
powder,
else.
like powdered
Yeah.
sugar or anything really. I'm curious because saturated. is just
Saturate
a
my
weird word.
documents in powdered sugar.
Please,
Yeah.
and then mail it to me. Our next headline: we have 2 Florida women
Okay.
a little bit of trouble. They show up to our victim's house late at night. Okay, this
Okay.
is the 3 a.m. one. I knew there was one with 3 a.m.
This guy
I just got them mixed
He
up.
loves-
Approximately 3 a.m.
Yeah.
at 1:16.
turns out noon, but whatever.
Right, who cares? So, anyways, at 3 a.m., these 2 women show up at the victim's apartment.
Yeah.
He has like a ground level apartment and
Okay.
a patio. So they go on the patio. They're yelling at the
Probably a loud neighbor upstairs with like a big dog.
Right.
and a broom in their pants.
Right.
Like just banging on the floor all the time.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they start yelling at this guy. He comes out,
Yeah.
and they start arguing with him. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're yelling at 3 a.m., which is super rude. And then all of the sudden, they throw a container of glitter at the victim,
Wow.
hitting his
Okay.
head and torso. Josh just said glitter.
I know.
did say
Prophet.
He does it
glitter,
all
yeah.
the time.
Prophetess.
Then this one of the suspects jumped over the fence, the patio fence, and threw more containers of glitter.
Huh.
But it's not saying like if the glitter is opened or if they're just like
Oh,
it
closed
just keeps
pack.
saying containers of
yeah,
glitter.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Now, if it's a glass jar of glitter,
Wow.
that's a deadly weapon.
No,
well, I think
100%.
Glitter can still get in the esophagus.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
If it's
Yep.
opened, that's a deadly weapon. You
You're
know what I'm
believing
saying?
That. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, though. If it is open, let's say it's open,
okay.
Right.
and they're just tossing fistfuls of glitter, and their
Okay,
containers,
yep.
their fists.
Right.
Assault or no?
That's a party at that point.
Okay.
Oh,
Someone's tossing
okay.
glitter in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
air.
Loud noises.
3 in the
glitter.
morning.
Gosh, wow.
Bro, that's New Year's.
That's a raid.
Yeah. How do
Yeah.
you get
Right?
away with this crime? You go, surprise,
Glitter.
happy birthday.
Right.
And then you go, oops,
You
wrong
can
guy.
have you
Yeah,
can
wrong
have your
person.
argument. You can have
Yeah.
your argument. That's totally separate from the
Surprise party.
surprise, and
Right.
then you chuck
100%.
it.
Surprise, we're having an argument.
Right. And
So
you
what was
suffocate him
the
with glitter?
What was the I guess the closure with this? Did they go to jail for glitter bombs?
Well, one of them went around to the front door, kicking and breaking one of the lower
Oof.
windows.
That's the crime.
And then, then investigators tracked them down, and the vehicle was full of glitter
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
the crime, though, was the fact that they're assaulting him with glitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
But
glitter
it says
you-
containers.
Yeah, glitter
Wow.
you can't cover up. You know what I mean? Like when the cops come, you're trying to clean the scene up.
Is there like luminol for glitter, or is it just the eyes?
No,
No.
it's just there at
Forever.
all time. Forever. There's no
Yeah.
statute of limitations on glitter because you
100%.
never get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's always around.
What
so
I'm wondering is,
they're
let-
happy about it, dude.
let's
They're
say you
grinning.
sneeze glitter,
Right.
Sure.
right? What would you pay? Like that seems like a pretty cool like party trick. Like, hey, everybody, watch me sneeze.
Like what's your show fee?
Yeah, and then there's like glitter that comes out.
I see what you're saying.
Did this glitter come from a saturated legal document that you
Bingo.
smuggled into prison? And
That's
then
that's where I was
snorted?
going. That's where I
Okay.
was going.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm
I don't know
asking.
what the crime is though.
No crime.
I haven't heard one yet.
Just party tricks.
Yeah.
Just party tricks. That's what this was too, apparently. All right, our last headline. We have a Florida woman. This article's calling her an unlucky bride.
Oh no.
Mm,
Unlucky bride.
That's hurtful.
Ugly
Ugly husband.
Surprise.
All right, so we had a happy wedding day at first. All right, the couple
Cool.
started out, everything's good.
Right.
And then they get to the I do section of the ceremony.
That's the easiest part. If
That
I'm
is,
honest.
you have 2 words.
I do.
And so really the bride must have been so nervous about those 2 words because she started swaying. She passed out.
Okay.
And then as soon as she came to, she started throwing up everywhere.
Okay.
Wow.
This is in the middle of the ceremony.
Poor girl doesn't feel well.
No. And
Everybody should
then-
turn around out of respect.
100%.
Yeah, you just got to stop looking at that point.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And then after this whole ordeal,
Don't say
her
it.
nephew ended up pooping on her wedding gown.
Okay.
Well, that's not a nice.
He got out of his chair and went up there and pooped.
I hope.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't. The
How old is
timeline's
this?
the timeline's iffy. He poops on it and then throws a
Yeah.
pack of glitter at her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was 32.
Uncle comes in with a broom for a leg.
But then,
Pirate.
so she's saying, "Oh, it's not a big deal."
All of that is not a big
The
deal.
show must go on.
Okay.
She's acting like it, but now she's saying she wants to redo the whole wedding.
okay. Well, I think that's going to cost you.
I think it is going to cost.
Yeah,
you.
and good luck
Yeah.
getting your guests to come back again.
That's what. Okay, that's my first thought. Is would
Yeah.
you go back?
Absolutely.
No.
You would go back to a wedding, like a
I
do-over
want to
wedding.
see what happens.
hypothetically.
Like the first one was entertaining
Yeah.
enough.
okay,
I'm
hypothetically.
wearing a GoPro on my chest for this
True.
one.
The bride that's the most embarrassing day of her life.
Absolutely.
She wants to do it again. Imagine, put yourself in her shoes. Wedding day number 2 is happening, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And she's sitting there, and all of a sudden, a little nausea comes
Oh,
up again on day
bro.
number 2.
No,
Could you
he-
imagine the
that's-
stress of
That's
like,
the risk,
You
man.
Go, you go time out.
and
what
the
if it's
nephew's like,
worse?
I just ate chili.
Oh, he's not invited. To
No.
anything.
Not your wife's chili. That's delicious and easily contained.
Yes.
Topical. My wife makes great chili.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, Josh.
So, the social series that we do.
That's right. Very successful.
right. I've been seeing a lot of like comments under it, under the most recent one with my dad.
Yeah, that's right.
Like if you go look under the YouTube comments,
Yeah,
tons
your
of-
grandma commented.
yes, she did.
Congratulations.
She's the one that said, "That's my handsome boy.
Yep. That's my grandbaby.
That's my grandbaby, Josh." Well, I've just noticed that they like peak in popularity.
That's right. The social is very popular.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of peak under like my section
Right.
of like the ice break.
We see our data from our publisher.
Yep. There's a dip.
Yeah, front of the show, very hot. End of
Heavy.
the show, very hot. Middle of
Yeah.
the show, non-existent
Fast forward.
almost.
They go, "This is the most popularly fast forwarded part."
Yeah, must be
of
where the
show."
ads are at.
Yeah. So I decided I wanted to do something similar.
Okay.
And since the social kind of pulls out like good, accomplished people,
The best of us.
Right.
successful,
Right.
I thought, let's change worldviews, right?
Okay.
I'm going to interview the baddies.
Come
or
on.
what society views as the baddies.
Like
Saddam
villains.
Hussein.
Saddam
Right.
Hussein.
Right.
Yep.
BP.
BP oil spill.
Yeah.
Commonly
Yeah.
misunderstood.
Yeah. I tried to get like an
Really?
interview with the oil that did the spill.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
And the BP guy, he's like, what are you talking about? Oil and vinegar, they don't even mix.
I see what you're saying.
So
Big
how would
salad guy.
how would we even spill it?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
just scoop it
you're
off.
telling us that you brought villains into the studio.
well, baddies,
Okay, baddies into the studio.
misunderstood baddies.
Okay.
So what I call
I'm nervous
this,
now.
I call this welcome to interview the baddie.
Come on.
This is a series where I let those
Interview the bad.
interview the baddie.
Yeah.
A
Very
series
literal.
where I let those who society views as bad
Yeah.
anonymously tell their story.
Okay.
You're giving a voice to the people.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then at the
All
end,
the people.
All the people.
Both sides.
at the end, I'll let you guys comment after hearing their story.
You're giving them a chance to redeem themselves.
And I may reveal like who they are. They may reveal who they are.
okay.
But
Mhm.
it may change your perspective on who's really bad.
So how many interviews do we have here?
3 full ones.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
3 5-minute-ish videos at around 1:16, 3 in the morning.
Cool. Let's hear it.
Perfect.
So here's my story. I'm like 15, hanging out with my buddies, TJ and Sam, at Sam's house. Sam's older brother comes in and says, like, hey, we're going to go hit this spot. We need some more bodies. And my man Sam, he's always down. So he volunteers us. We get in the car, and Sam's older brother hands us each a thin fabric and says, put this on. So I grab mine, I unravel it, and I slip it on. And he's like, not on your foot, you idiot, on your face. It's to cover your face up. So I put mine over my face. Obviously, it's hard to breathe because anything over your mouth and nose make it hard to breathe. We show up to this underground mall thing, and there were like 40 guys in like dress pants, button-ups,
That's fine.
but they all have that face covering on their face. So we start kind of like ransacking this place. I grab a few Andre Agassi series tennis rackets, and then I hear like this commotion in the lobby. And so we all run out, and I walk in there, and there's this pizza boy beating up like 4 other guys. Like, that's weird, but this is kind of where it gets really weird. So like behind him, like you guys, I don't know if you guys are going to believe this. 4 wingless demons appear, and they come bounding down the stairs, giggling like children. Like, I don't know, like one of them dropped a stink bomb upstairs. So picture this. Like, Pizza Boy beats up 4 of our dudes, and then these 4 creatures covered in muscles and green skin show up. And each one is smiling, which is actually scarier than if they were growling. Like, yeah, a demon shows up and like he's snarling at you. Yeah, that's scary. But if he shows up and he's grinning at you, I mean, that rocked me. So they show up and they're all giggling, and each one has these big bulbous eyes and this horrific, idiotic grin that reminds you of like the Cheshire Cat. And each one stinks like sewage and pizza. But it could have been a pizza from Pizza Boy, but I couldn't really tell the difference. But the smell was so bad, it almost knocked me over. So I can barely see, because each of these guys in khakis is like a grown adult man. I'm still young. So I don't really have a great view, but then all of a sudden they jump like 15 feet in the air over the Pizza Boy, and they immediately start kicking our asses. But not like normal kicking, right? They're playing with us the entire time, giggling the whole time, poking us in the side. One guy ended up being tickled to death. Like, I saw him croak right there. I saw one guy get massacred by a foam hand, like a foam sports hand. And then one guy, they took him and they balled him up and they spun him over their head like a b-ball. And then one of the demons in the orange bandana yelled, "Leo, can I get a slice?" And that's when the demon that was spinning him pulls out 2 katana blades and cuts the guy up midair. It was horrific. And then like a slice of the guy goes flying across the room, and the guy in the orange bandana ate him. right in front of my eyes. So that's my first experience with crime. I mean, I made it out of there. Sam's brother, he ended up getting diagnosed with stigmata. But that event is kind of what really strengthened our group and how we became the Foot Clan. And since then, we've been trying to catch and kill those demons that murdered my friends. So that's my story.
So, okay. This young man,
Yeah.
he gets pulled into a life of crime.
Yeah. Wow.
And while he's there, 4 demons in bandanas
Yep.
attack him and kill his friends. It sounds a lot like the Ninja Turtles.
Well, yeah. Well, he didn't really clarify that.
Well, he said he was in the Foot Clan.
He's still committing crime, though. I'd
He's-
like to say, like, this changed my perspective on him.
No, not me.
Not you.
No.
He's still committing crime.
He's a baddie.
He's a baddie, but, did he deserve to see his friend sliced up and fed?
No.
Lots
I don't
of-
think anybody deserves
A lot
that.
of pizza puns there, too.
There was a lot of pizza talk.
There was
in there.
a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is, whenever the demon came and spun the man over his over his head,
Yeah.
was he saying cowabunga while it was happening?
Oh, yeah. Well, he didn't clarify it. It was really just like he was in here for 15 minutes.
And then he left.
Yeah, he seemed pretty traumatized.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So
Yeah.
that was
I
that,
would be traumatized at that point too.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
that was interview number 1.
Yeah. And I'm going to say
Pretty graphic.
It was pretty graphic. I want to still lean on the side like, okay, maybe he was a baddie,
Right.
He made some
But-
poor life choices
yeah.
that led him down a really
Yeah.
sad road.
Yeah. but he's chasing vigilantes now.
Right.
Green muscled vigilantes that
With
smell
shells
like
on their
sewage.
back
Possibly.
that love pizza.
Yeah.
But not the Ninja Turtles.
Definitely not the
Yeah.
turtles.
But interview 2, I'm going to put my foot down
Okay.
and I'm going to say this person is bad. I don't
So
wanna,
number 2 is a definite baddie.
yeah.
So you're on the side of the first baddie. You
Okay,
think
first
that they've been
baddie
painted in a
could
wrong
be a
light.
goodie.
Right.
Okay.
Second baddie.
It's definitely a baddie. I
Definitely
wonder
a
who it
baddie.
is.
Total
Yeah.
baddie.
Well, let's take a listen.
Let's have a
Let's
listen.
So, I'd like to say I've been unjustly vilified on you guys'
Okay.
show. But I appreciate the opportunity here to tell my side. And let's just say this is long overdue, fellas. Unlike most of society, I work nights. And that makes building relationships difficult. I mean, I'm a cool cat, but this nocturnal lifestyle of mine keeps me pretty solitary and maybe a little edgy. So what? Meow. I'm working nights outside in this fella's yard. Hiss. And out of my peripheral vision, I see a large dog heading my way. Meow. Sure, I may have crossed the property line,
Mhm.
but no reason to sick a dog on me. I stay silent, hoping it won't catch a whiff of me. Meow. But I'm sure enough, he sure does. That dog tracks me quick. It trots over. Silent, but fast and deadly. It was sniffing me, not barking or biting. I stayed calm too. Purr. Then this porker comes bounding out of the door, yelling some gibberish at the dog, and just walks up on me. I greet him. Hiss, meow. Purr. I let him know I'm cool. But he doesn't reply in kind. Instead, he goes for this double eye poke, and I gots to defend myself. Purr. I'm not open carry like Cam, but I can handle my own.
Every time.
However, he's too quick. Meow. And I can't get my hand up in time to block it. So I just open my mouth and I chomp down instead of taking 2 fat deuces into my retinas. Purr. Just then, Chubbs reacts immediately, squeaks loudly, like some shoes on a b-ball court. and he ends up lifting me in the air in his head, like he's Rafiki and I'm Simba. The whole time I'm hissing, like, I'm just trying to say, dude, I'm cool, but I have my mouth on him, and so it doesn't sound right. He finally launches me out across the yard. And to add insult to injury, he calls me an a-hole. Then his dog runs over, I'm guessing to apologize, like right behind him, like, I'm sorry, but I couldn't understand that dog. And then the guy runs over right behind the dog, and he jabs the same dumb hand in my face. So I bite hard down this time, meow. I could have swore my incisors hit his thumb bone because this time he shrieks like a helium-filled barn owl that was ran over by a golf cart driven by O.J. Simpson. I almost went deaf. Imagine that. A cat, cool cat like me, meow, going deaf. Finally, that chonker flings me off again. You tell me, is that unforgivable? Am I really the baddie here?
Wow.
That sounds a lot
Wow.
like your fight with the bobcat.
It sounded familiar to me, and I thought I recognized the cool cat.
Yeah.
the
sitting
entire
here?
situation.
Yeah.
Eerily
that you
similar.
told us on the podcast.
yeah.
But that was your perspective. Now we're hearing the other side.
Yeah.
If
I
you-
still think he was the aggressor.
Now, if you're just tuning in for the, if you're a newer listener, a little while
Oof,
back, Josh was attacked by a bobcat. So we were told
Yes.
that Josh innocently in his backyard was attacked by a
He
bobcat.
does have a scar in
The
his
proof is
thumb.
still there.
And now we hear this side of the story. It sounds like Josh was the aggressor.
It does
know.
sound like you are
Wait
the
a second.
aggressive. Now,
Is Josh the baddie?
are you the chonker?
I'm not the
Are you
baddie.
the chonker though?
He called, he said the chonker came out of the house.
Anybody is a chonker compared to a bobcat.
That's true.
I
I,
see
didn't
what
know if
you're
he was
saying.
talking about the dog.
He was kind of a judgmental bobcat.
He was
Yeah.
very.
I will
judgmental.
say
Well, he
that.
called me a porker too.
Yeah,
Well,
he
I wasn't gonna
did,
say
which
that
is very
one.
Thank
rude.
you.
Yeah.
So far,
And Chubbs.
Okay, let's list them all.
so far we have a member of the Foot Clan,
Right.
Yeah.
who was attacked by the Ninja Turtles.
Could have been good. Could have
Right.
been a goodie. Just pilfering.
The bobcat that you fist fought in your backyard,
Mm.
Yeah, I won.
a definite baddie.
Yeah.
Well, you make it sound worse if you're the aggressor and then you go, "I won."
That doesn't make you sound.
Yeah, you're other
You
bullying
might be the
animals.
villain here.
Okay, if you're beaten up by an attacker, but you win in the end,
I see what you're
you
saying.
still are a good guy.
Okay.
Okay.
So
The
Well-
next guy, though, I'm undecided.
this third one,
There's a
Yeah.
third one.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, Greg kind of he did this interview.
Greg brought this person in.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I wasn't here, so I just play it out.
Let's have a
See-
listen.
See how it sounds.
Hey, Jello Pudding Pop.
No,
No,
absolutely,
absolutely not.
No, we gotta
Definite
stop that one.
baddie.
Greg,
Yeah.
let's stop this one.
He's a baddie.
He's
I
a
don't think
baddie.
we need to hear.
No,
I think we're
I think
all in
courts
agreeance.
decided, right?
I think so.
He's a
Okay.
baddie.
Yeah, he's a baddie.
Daddy for sure.
Asa Philip Randolph was
Mm.
born April 15th, 1889 in Crescent City, Florida.
Asa was born in
Oh.
1859.
1889.
Yeah, that's
In
what I thought.
Florida, Asa's
Oh.
a good name. too.
Come
like
on,
that.
it's a great
Yeah.
name. Asa's father was the minister at the African Methodist Episcopal Church.
Nice.
But he
Religious
was
man.
yes, but he was also the town's tailor.
Hmm.
Wow. So you had the best suits in the church.
That guy.
Yeah.
Everybody actually.
Everybody.
Everybody.
He did the
probably.
choir robes,
Yeah.
everything.
Oh wow.
Conveniently enough, Asa's mother was the town's seamstress.
Wow.
Oh,
So it's kind of like a chicken or the egg situation.
Seamstress
Like,
and the
Is-
tailor. In the
did
same
they
house.
meet because of the similar careers?
Right.
can a female be a tailor and a male be a seamstress, or is that?
I see
Yeah,
what
I
you're
think
saying.
it's more
this
so-
day and age. Yes,
Yeah, but I think it's more so what you're sewing for, right?
Is
he
it?
Cameron's onto it.
He is.
I don't
The-
think it's the sewee.
The purpose
it's
of the sewing.
Yes, it's for
You reap
whom
what you
for
sow.
whom it's being sewed for.
Yes.
Okay.
clear it
we
up.
nailed it. That's so good.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Unfortunately, for Asa,
Yeah.
life was really difficult growing up because of racial injustices and the constant threat of violence.
Yeah.
So in
that's a problem.
1891, when he was just 2 years old, Asa's family picked up everything.
Mm.
They moved very quickly in the dead of the night from Crescent City to Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Nice.
Is there less racism up there?
Well, here's the thing. The reason why they moved to Jacksonville, of all places, is because in the late 1800s, early 1900s, Jacksonville was one of the few cities in the South that actually had a thriving and well-established African-American community.
Nice.
Okay. Sweet.
So it wasn't like a utopia by any stretch.
Right.
Of course not.
It was better off than Crescent City. Still a
Right.
lot of terrible things happening there.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
a
there
small
was
hub is better than no hub.
absolutely,
True.
and so
Yeah.
that's why they moved, just somewhere where Asa's family could feel a little bit better off.
Yeah.
But Ava said he remembers vividly so many evenings when his father would have to storm the front yard, waving his gun in the air to
Okay.
prevent people from burning crosses on their property.
Now, I'm no historical expert,
Right.
but I've never understood the burning cross as a threat.
Right. That's what
It's
would
a
happen.
threat?
And the thing
Okay.
about it is this happened multiple times.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and this is after they moved to Jacksonville, the quote unquote safer place.
Yeah, the hub.
There were like multiple evenings where his father has to run out with a gun to go, like, to stop people from
Stop
burning
lighting
crosses
things
in the
my
yard.
Right.
He said he also remembered his mother rocking him to sleep while she clutched a shotgun on her lap
Jeez.
because she never felt safe
Okay.
in her own home.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get that.
That's sad.
Yeah, so all of these things, they're very terrible for anyone to endure, but like especially for a child,
Yeah,
like that, like that's like
absolutely.
core memories. That's like the earliest
When
thing
you remember
can recall
a shotgun
Right.
next to you, yeah, that's
at the
just
same age
bad.
that your mother's rocking you to sleep.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
insane.
Not a good start.
But that was the reality for so many people during this
For sure.
time. And as awful as it is, like it's very important that we talk about it because that's
Florida.
that's a part of our state history. And so one of the evenings in particular that really stood out to Asa was when his father left the house with his gun one night
Oof.
and didn't come back home.
Oof.
Um,
Like this.
And so Asa and his mother, they stayed up waiting, thinking the absolute worst all night
course.
long until finally, just before sunrise, his father comes back.
Oh,
And as it turned out, his dad had heard rumor that there was going to be a lynching down at the county jail by a mob.
okay.
So Asa's father gathered up some of his friends and they went down there to stop it.
Okay.
And they were
Wow.
able to prevent
they
it.
were.
They
Okay.
were able to
Wow,
prevent
wow,
it.
Okay.
So
I was nervous.
and that's
Yeah, me
something that
too.
like it shows you like kind of
Power
like
of community.
well, and also the kind of family Asa comes from.
Right.
His
Yeah,
dad heard
sure.
about it and was like, no,
Yeah.
we're not going to let this
I
happen.
mean, yeah, he put his life on the line.
100%. And so Asa says he remembers this story in particular because of what his father said to him when he came back that following morning. So, Asa and his mom, they're staying up all night long thinking
Yeah.
his dad's dead. His dad comes back that morning after saving this man's life
Mhm.
and he looks at Asa and he said, the color of a man is way less important than his character and his conduct.
Mm.
And like that's like a great life lesson for anyone, but
Yeah.
for Asa, that like inspired and motivated his whole life's work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the
powerful.
night where he
Yeah.
was like, man, like my dad's a great guy. This is the guy I want to be. And so Asa went on to become an incredible student. He attended the Cookman Institute in Jacksonville,
Mhm.
which we've actually talked about on this show before. The Cookman Institute was like a forerunner for many of our country's historically black colleges.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
And a lot of leaders and a lot of great movements attended school there.
Mm-hmm.
And so Asa excelled at Cookman in quite a few different subjects, but especially so within the arts.
Okay.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
Very creative guy. He was excellent in literature and drama, but his all-time favorite elective was public speaking.
Wow.
I mean, I guess it's an art. I mean,
It is.
definitely
It
is.
is if you're
Okay.
especially if you're good at it.
as a man who
You'd also be
doesn't
very-
speak publicly.
Right, which you would not be good at.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So, in that case, it's not an art.
right.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
But
more
for
of
Asa,
a-
it was an art.
Exactly.
This guy, even as a teenager,
Yeah.
he could not only gather a crowd,
Oh,
but he could keep them like enthralled with his speeches,
yeah. I think you can gather a crowd with
Now
anything.
just by
an art.
screaming,
yeah.
That's the art.
but
Nudity.
keeping them there, right?
dance moves.
100%.
But he's just using his voice.
Wow.
Using his voice and giving public speeches.
Yep.
He's
Not
not cheating.
at
Taking
all.
His clothes off.
Nudity as a cheat code.
Yes.
100%
To gathering a
in
crowd?
any scenario.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Asa used his childhood and his father's life lessons to build a reputation as someone who was not only heavily involved
Yeah.
and respected in the community, but as someone who genuinely got stuff done. This was a
That's what I'm
guy that
talking
like
about.
he wasn't just committed just for giving speeches. This guy would give speeches and then go out and practice what he preached and got
Oh.
stuff done,
Okay.
like a true community organizer. In 1913, Asa Randolph courted and then married a lady named Lucille Campbell Green.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Lucille was very special to Asa because from day one, she saw something in him that he didn't really see in himself. She would tell him all the time
Mhm.
that she felt like God had a very special calling on his life,
Yeah.
and she just wanted to be around to see it come to fruition.
Yeah. I miss the courting process. I mean, you used to be able to beat a girl at tennis and then she'd be your girlfriend.
100%.
Yeah.
Asa had to put in the work.
He really did.
He had to put in the work, courting, hanging out with Lucille. And so Asa would always say that if it wasn't for her encouragement
Mhm.
and her support, that he would have given up very early on.
Jeez.
So what we see here are like a lot of little pieces lining up perfectly in Asa's life.
Right.
Between his father's influence, his wife,
Mhm.
his community involvement, they're all playing a massive role in the man that he goes on to become.
Mhm.
Shortly after marrying Lucille, Asa felt like
He beat her in tennis.
he beat her in tennis finally, but he felt like he wanted to expand his work outside of Florida.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He had been doing a lot of good things here and making a name for himself, but he was like, you know what, like there are needs elsewhere
Mhm.
and no one's meeting them, so
Right.
I want to go to where the need is. So in 1914, Asa helped organize the Shakespearean Society in Harlem.
Okay.
And so basically what this society did is it allowed people of color to play the leading roles in some of Shakespeare's classic theatrical
Okay.
plays.
That's cool.
Like Hamlet, Othello,
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet.
We could name them all if we.
Josh could name at
If
least
we had
seven
the
of them.
time,
If
we
we
just
had
don't
the
have the time.
time.
Short
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
But at this point in our country's history, that was unheard of.
Yeah.
And we actually covered that topic. Remember we did Sidney Poitier's episode?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Who just passed
Oh.
away last week, actually,
Yeah.
sadly. But people of color were never cast
No.
in theater, and if they were very typecast. So like it was rare to see them in a leading role, and that is what Asa went and set up here in Harlem.
Yeah. You
allowing
see them in
folks-
minstrels or
100% right.
Yep.
So Asa, he really made a lot of people like he helped them find headway here in the entertainment industry.
Gave him a spot.
He gave him a spot, gave him a
Nice.
chance. So 3 years after his work in Harlem, Asa helped create and launch a magazine that was nationally distributed called The Messenger.
Okay. This guy's really.
Is this about the arts?
It wasn't actually. This magazine took a hard stance
Okay.
against a lot of issues that were plaguing the African American community.
Nice.
So
Wow.
they took a hard stance against like public mobs.
Yeah.
They opposed the U.S. involvement in any foreign war.
Wow.
And it urged African Americans to resist being drafted.
Nice.
This is bold.
It was
Yeah.
the central argument by the magazine was, why fight for a country that won't fight for you?
Amen.
Yeah.
And so it was a brilliant stance, awesome policy.
Yeah.
At the time in 1917, super controversial.
For
sure.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It'd be controversial now.
Oh, sure, yeah. So
Yeah,
100
back
years ago,
then,
I mean,
easily.
Asa is, he recognized the importance of this movement.
Of course.
And so he said, look, if we're ever going to live in an integrated society, like
Yeah.
these issues have to be addressed, and they have to be addressed on a national scale.
Of course.
Yeah.
So when the Messenger magazine really takes off, it elevates Asa Randolph's reputation by a lot.
Of course.
He's
Yeah.
not just this guy
He
who's
has
doing
national coverage. in
Yeah,
his own
right,
magazine.
exactly. Before it was like Florida knows him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then he does work in Harlem. Now it's like, cool, this is Asa Randolph. This
Wow.
guy's doing great things.
Like it.
Because of this, he was called to Virginia, where thousands of African American workers were being employed by the railroad industry
Oof.
without fair wages or
Mhm.
without proper representation.
Mhm.
So they call Asa over to Virginia,
Wow.
and immediately, he shows up, and immediately he's elected as the president of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
It's very specific.
It is. Yeah. I mean,
Very cool name.
It is very
trying to
specific.
paint a picture of what the name is implying. But
Right.
I think it's their sleeping
So,
car porters.
Basically,
Oh, okay.
it was also known as the BSCP. The Brotherhood was one of our country's most well-known and successful worker unions.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
And Asa was now the president of this union. So he goes to Virginia to fight for equal rights and for
Yep.
fair wages,
Yeah.
fair employment. And while he's there, the largest, most successful union goes, hey, we want you to be our president.
So they
Yeah.
were successful before him.
No, they weren't successful in getting legislation passed.
Okay.
They were successful in just organizing
They-
and
okay.
kind of existing.
But they see a guy with national coverage.
who's a good public speaker.
Right.
Yeah,
They
they
need 'em.
invite him in and they go, hey,
We got to have you.
well, they probably said, publish an article about this injustice. And then,
Yeah,
they're
take
like,
us to the next
"Well,
level.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you're the president.
Well, that's the thing. So the BSCP, they fought for people of color, and they provided countless numbers of families with fair wages,
Cool.
fair hours, and they offered consistent employment during a time of like widespread racial discrimination.
Of course.
So looking back in retrospect, Asa's work with the labor unions is really what like cemented him as an early champion in the civil rights movement.
Okay.
Mm.
That was what centered him as somebody who is nationally known
Yep.
Right.
and he gets stuff done. So in 1934, Asa gets summoned to the White House.
Oh, okay.
And
And Cam knows who's the president in
Yeah.
1934.
FDR.
that's right.
Yeah.
What?
yep, Franklin D. Roosevelt
Uh-huh.
summons Asa
It's
to
the
the
Great
White
Depression,
House.
bro. You don't know that?
Yeah, no,
Come
I
on,
do.
Josh.
I did. That's what I was saying. I was giving you a light to shine.
So he basically, President Roosevelt calls Asa to the White House. There's not a lot of people in the room,
Yeah.
but those who were in the room said the conversation starts getting heated.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. FDR, he wanted to make some changes that would make him look good publicly.
Of course.
Well,
But in
that's
rea-
weird.
Right.
Doesn't sound
right.
like a president.
Not a politician.
No.
But in reality, it would have done very little to help people of color.
Okay.
So at this point, our Florida man, Asa, starts making a stand like in the Oval Office,
Wow.
telling the president of the United States face to face, like, these are like, there's no backbone here.
Yep.
You're doing nothing.
Mm.
Yeah.
The
We're not
argument
gonna
was-
take, we're not going to take a pacifier.
Right.
Right.
Just so you look good.
It was so successful that the end result of that conversation was an amendment to the Federal
Wow.
Railway
Okay.
Labor Act, in which railroad employees who were primarily African American
Yeah.
were granted rights under federal law for the first time in U.S. history.
Wow.
amazing.
The guy
Beast.
backs down FDR.
Beast.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And
in
has-
in the Oval Office.
Yeah, in his home territory, right? So now at this point, it's safe to say that Asa has made a name for himself.
Yeah.
He's debating the president in the Oval Office. He's
Yeah.
walking away with meaningful change. But because of this nationwide attention, Asa starts developing principles that other similar movements and leaders could adopt.
Mm.
He starts
Okay.
saying, hey, this is a working formula.
Yeah.
This it can't just be me. We've got to branch out. This has
Yep,
to be
right.
real organization. So
Yeah.
there were three main principles that Asa kind of would hammer home every time he traveled and spoke.
Okay.
Number one, he insisted that African Americans should vote as a block on issues.
Nice.
We have to agree on things.
Right.
We have
Of
to vote
course, yeah.
together. Number two, we have to prioritize mass voter registration
Okay.
to make
of
sure
course.
that
Can't
Well,
vote if
to
you're not
get a
registered.
bingo.
Yeah.
100%. And number three, our demonstrations have to be organized and absolutely nonviolent.
That's perfect.
Okay.
So he was really like, because of Asa's national reputation
Mhm.
and his gift for public speaking, these principles, they take off nationally.
Of course.
Mm.
Yeah.
And because he's a trusted individual.
Yeah.
So like this whole like nonviolent movement, these peaceful protests, like he's the father of this. Like, he's the one
Yeah.
really behind it. So for the first time in U.S. history, we start seeing a real movement and organization in the area of civil rights.
Okay.
And so it was around this time that Asa Randolph decided that in order to really get the attention of Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
and the world, he needed to organize one massive event,
Okay.
one major
Okay.
nonviolent
big
protest
The big
that
one.
would change the way people viewed equal rights forever.
Okay.
Asa decided that the location
Mm-hmm.
would be in D.C. for obvious reasons,
Mhm.
and that the demonstrators would march from the Washington Monument to the Lakeland Memorial.
Okay.
And Asa was really happy with the progress of his event. Groups from all around the country were declaring their support. They're showing up in droves. But what really excited him was when he booked a young activist named Martin Luther King Jr.
What?
to give a speech at the event.
Hmm.
Everything went off according to plan. And on August 28th, 1963,
Okay.
300,000 people showed up to hear MLK deliver his speech entitled I Have a Dream.
Okay.
No
Which-
way, dude.
Was organized and planned by Asa Philip Randolph.
Yeah, because the words from his father were content of his character,
Right.
which is repeated in the I Have a Dream speech,
100%.
which came from Asa's father,
100%.
a Florida man.
That's insane.
Absolutely incredible. Asa Philip Randolph is known as
Strong.
one of the fathers of our nation's civil rights movement.
Wow.
His meetings with multiple presidents all ended in productive laws being passed, and his blueprint for nonviolent demonstrations are still used to this very day.
Mhm.
Asa passed away in 1979, but his legacy lives
Wow.
on in such an incredible way. His awards and his accolades literally go on for days. It's massive, but he was an amazing human, an amazing Florida man.
Unreal.
That's-
Yeah.
I'm blown away.
And just
This
like
is
incredible.
this is the Million Man March.
this, and what's so massive about this is that, like, again, like, he always put his money where his mouth. He
Right.
always like delivered on everything.
This is
Yeah.
insane.
And he goes, like, he's in the Oval Office backing down presidents, and he goes, you know what's going to really get their attention?
yeah.
If we just show up outside their house.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we show up in Washington.
Yep.
We hired this. He brings in this young guy
Love it.
to come give a speech that goes down in history and changes, quite literally the nation.
I mean, Asa may be well known. I mean, but obviously MLK is more well known.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, the foundation.
Well, and we just celebrated a couple of days ago. MLK.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's massive what Asa was able to accomplish, and to think back on like those trying times when he was younger. Again, his earliest memories being his mother rocking him with a shotgun in her lap.
Yeah.
His father never knowing if he's going to come home. But yeah, building a life that was like so meaningful and purposeful.
Yeah. Asa thought he was a twin and thought his brother was shotgun until they got a mirror.
That's right.
So I heard.
He had no idea. Listen, patreon.com/FMOFM podcast is where you can come hang out with us live. Right now we're live streaming and having a blast doing so.
love
Josh
our live
keeps waving
streamers.
and blowing kisses at the camera.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. That's what you want to be a part of.
You want to get that kiss.
You want to get that
They're
kiss.
free for Patreon.
They are free, but you know what? When we started this show, we said, you know what, guys, we're never going to make people pay for kisses. And
That's
yet here we
true.
are
That's the principle.
We
hiding
don't want to be a
them
kissing booth is
behind a
what we said.
paywall.
Yeah.
Huh.
Huh.
Listen, if you want to court Josh and you want some of them smooches, or you want to court me or Cameron,
Or you want to battle us in tennis.
either or.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Tomato,
Yeah.
tomato.
Mhm.
Come hang out with us on Patreon. We love
Please,
you.
come hang
Episode
out on the couch.
164. We'll see you later.
See you later.